2024 has been a big year for both Mallory and I.
This is the year that we were fully submerged between the transition of one child to two, a transition that we weren't quite prepared for.
Then, in the midst of the transition, I had to go on an unavoidable family business trip, leaving Mallory with 2 kids all by herself for an entire week.
On top of everything, we experienced extreme burnout and mental breakdowns to the point where we didn't even recognize who we were anymore.
This year was about trial and error, patience, understanding, and letting go of a past self.
Regardless of all the hardships that you endure as a parent, there are a ton of beloved memories that will just melt your heart.
Here's a recap of our most memorable moments of this year, a year that has profoundly changed who we are.
Hey
Happy
everybody!
New Year!
Happy New Year!
Welcome.
2025, baby!
Oh my gosh, another year, eh?
Yeah.
New year, new me.
That's right. Isn't that what they always say?
Resolutions, let's go.
Yeah, we've given up on resolutions.
I'm gonna hit the gym 5 times, 6 times, 7 times a week.
I'm going to eat super healthy.
And then I'm not gonna go to the gym anymore.
And then after a month, I'm going to drop that membership. No, I say that because I actually did that. So
Oh, really?
we're not making fun of anybody. Like, I was one of those people.
Oh, really, eh?
Yeah.
I just don't really make resolutions. I make simple resolutions.
Yes, I know.
Like,
Yeah.
read 10 books a year.
Yes, and you have transformed me into this person as well.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Setting
Awesome.
goals is just a setup for failure.
Yeah, pretty much. But if you set little goals, then you'll never fail. Bigger ones each year.
Yeah, you definitely have to understand how to set a proper goal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, don't overachieve.
Yeah. Anyways, blah, blah, blah.
Anyways, oh my goodness, what are we, gurus? Like, geez, no, we're not. But before we jump into the podcast, I just want to wish you guys a full year of prosperity, great health, and awesomeness.
Love it. I
Love
love
it.
that.
But yeah, anyways, let's jump into the structure of things. So today we're going to be pretty much doing a recap of our entire year as a family, as podcasters, as individuals. And we're going to be basically going over all the memorable moments we've had during the whole year, the ups, the downs, the left, and the rights.
Yeah, just everything in between.
Yeah, basically a huge wrap up and kind of like, how do we grow as a person and lessons we have learned that we just love to share.
And also like what we look forward to this year. So let's jump right in. We're going to talk about basically the year to year, like January to December. Where were we?
Yeah, let's start off with January of 2024. My earliest memory going back to that is we've had little lady for a couple months now. She's still a fresh, infant. And yeah, times are rough. It's almost like I'm trying to forget it because of really how rough it was.
Yeah. So basically January, February, March, we were really struggling with Peanut being super aggressive, hitting all the time, her tantrums, her jealousy. Oh, man.
Yeah.
We're not going to dive too deep into all of these details because you can just easily go back and watch some of our previous videos. If you haven't already, definitely check them out.
But yes, little lady, she was pretty good.
Well, yeah, she was a newborn.
Yes, she was a newborn. She didn't really struggle with feeding at all, or sleeping really much. I would say didn't have struggle with anything. But yeah, it was our oldest daughter that really we had to, kind of teach her a lot of things, but also had to teach us a lot of things as well.
Yeah, I mean the beauty of everything about Peanut being the way that she was. I'm not going to say difficult because that's not necessarily the term. But she definitely taught us a lot and allowed us to grow, which is like the beauty of being able to do our podcast because she teaches us so many things. Even though they were really hard, It was all very rewarding.
Yeah, definitely recap. I do thank our oldest a lot. I feel like she's just challenged us in many ways where we had to really look within. And
she's figuring it out just as much as we are.
And yeah, it was really worrying at those times because they were really there's just a lot of jealousy. So I feel like in both of our heads, it was like, is this how it's gonna be for the next 10 for 15, 20 years? Yeah, it was really worrying. It's how do we kind of solve this issue now of this jealousy so that they don't grow up resenting each other?
Yeah, and we were really worried, did we make a mistake? Is this what we should have done so soon? Yeah, it was definitely a lot of contemplation of what did we just do?
It was, yeah, are they both ready for this? Did we, again, was it too early?
Yeah, and what situation did we put these girls in now?
Yeah, what situation did we put ourselves in?
Yeah.
Are we ready for this?
It sounds so dramatic now that we say it, but
Yeah.
man, that's how we felt in the moment. It was
Yeah.
crazy. And then
I had to go on a trip to overseas for an entire week.
8
Leaving
days.
Yeah, 8 days. Okay, fine. 8
I'm
days.
counting. I'm counting.
Seriously, who's counting?
Me.
All right.
It was 8 days.
And yeah, I had to go on this really important family business trip that I had to go on. And, you know, it was, our estate was in the matter. And so I had to go and fix it. You know, it was easy on me. But for you, do you remember some of those times?
Yes, I do.
Dang it, I was hoping you forget.
Yeah, no, I don't want to give you a hard time about it. Like, I did the best that I could, and I think I did it well. I remember that I was in bed right after Peanut was in bed, like 8 p.m. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I had to go to sleep very early. Thankfully, Peanut wasn't getting up through the night, so I was able to get some sleep through the night as well. So that was a blessing. And yeah, I just remember it being hard. I did have friends who would like bring me some meals for supper time, which was amazing. My mom was really busy. She was going through a lot of stuff, so I didn't get as much help from her as I was hoping. And then, of course, your mom was gone with you.
Yeah.
So that was the extent of the help that I had. So it was very, very minimal. But I am proud to say, like, I did it. I mean, I had no choice. I had to do it. But like, I think I did it fairly well considering. And I remember telling you, let's do this before little lady can start crawling and moving.
Yes.
So thankfully she was immobile and just laid there.
Yeah, I remember, like, I really didn't want to go. Like, I remember talking to my mom about it and be like, Mom, like, are you serious? Like, now the time you bring this up? Like, not, like, can we just wait until little lady's at least a year kind of thing? Like, and then, you know, kind
It would probably be worse now, though.
Yeah, it's just
So
true. Yeah, I
again,
can't imagine.
Like, again, I'm grateful that you went at the time you did if you had to do it.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, having one immobile and one mobile, like, it was just way better that way versus now.
Hey, guys. Just want to take a break from the video and say that if you're loving this video, please give us a like, write us a comment, and if you subscribe, we would love you very, very much. Also, if you want to subscribe to our newsletter, go to rawparentingpodcast.com where we upload once a month. And it's basically about things we learned during that month. So if you want to learn new parenting tips, hacks, you should subscribe. All right, back to the video. Yeah, so that was that. And yeah, I'm so proud of you for making through the whole 8 days.
Yeah.
I remember coming back. I think I came back to Lethbridge at like 5 in the morning or
You
something
did.
like
You were
that.
like, and I was like, do not make our dog bark,
Exactly,
please.
yeah.
So you slept in your car?
So I slept in my car for a couple hours. I didn't really sleep, but I just chilled in my car for a few hours. And
came home at like 7 a.m.
Yeah. It was, so that was that.
Yeah, so that was fun, but it was definitely a bump on the road of the beginning of the year. That was in like March sometime, I think it was.
Yeah.
So that was all fine. And then we go moving into the summertime. And the biggest thing that I remember was Peanut getting hives.
Yes, and not once.
Yeah. So if you want to know more details about that, check out our video. So yeah, that was like a huge shock to us because we didn't know what happened. We had like all of these different things going through our heads. And yeah, that was something that we really had to deal with. And then we thought it was over, but nope, it came back.
It doesn't sound like it's like, oh, big whoops, you know, hives. But the hive that she got was all over her body, first of all. And, you know, like she's been a fairly healthy child up until that point. Not that it's got any crazy side effects afterwards, but it was like her first major kind of like, I don't know, illness, sickness or some sort.
Yeah.
So for us, it was super stressful.
Especially since Peanut, yeah, again, you said she was really healthy, but also like she didn't get sick in general until this year.
Yeah.
It was really weird. We had to deal with a lot of different challenges because like all of a sudden we're dealing with illnesses that we've never dealt with. Like she never had a fever, like ever. And then, these hives thing kept coming and popping up and like doctors couldn't really tell us what it was, or they would say it was an allergy. And we're like, no.
Yeah.
So again, go watch the video and you'll find out more. But that was a huge factor for us as well. It was very stressful. And that led us to have like a lot more problems than what we actually like thought we had.
Yeah. And then it came back and then we're like, okay, we don't get this hives thing at all.
Well, yeah, the second time it came back, we were like, yeah, no, we were more confident in what we think it is.
Yeah.
So,
and knock on wood, it hasn't happened since. But yeah, that was fun.
That was a good time. But you know what else was really fun? And a highlight of that year in the summer was us going camping together as a family. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we went with friends too, and so that made it extra fun.
And like Peanut was so excited because one of her little friends was there too. So it was just like super cute. It was a great start to like setting up a camping experience for the kids, and looking forward to doing it again this year.
And then individually we had some struggles as well. I was really struggling with autopiloting.
Yes,
great for commercial airlines, but not good for individual. And
seriously,
honestly, what I mean by that was I feel like life was just so much like the same every day. And it was, with parenting, sometimes it could be just really lame and boring. And not every day can be sprinkles of fun in there. But I mean, you make it what it is. But just during those times, it was just really brutal for me. And so, yeah, I struggled with just maintaining my happiness and like, my sanity.
We had lots of mental breakdowns, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, I know I did for sure. You had like internal breakdowns, but like
Yeah.
mine were more apparent and
Yeah.
obvious. But yeah, we definitely had lots of those
Yeah.
earlier this year.
Yeah. Just honestly, just really questioning like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and doubting our choices,
Yeah.
which sounds so terrible, but we were like, what did we do? Like, we
Yeah.
just gave up the chill lifestyle of like doing whatever we wanted. And now we're just like, yeah, we felt like we were kind of like suffering and just like, oh, like, why did we choose this kind of
Yeah.
like thing?
Yeah.
And again, nothing against our kids. It was never really necessarily them. It was just the change, the drastic change that you hear about, but you don't fully expect until you're in it.
For sure. When you have two kids now, you're like, you think you were locked in before, but now you're extra locked in with everything.
So why not add a third? I mean,
Yeah, seriously, why not add a third? Twins.
oh, I kill myself. Like the fact that we just
I know.
had a year like this, we're like, a third sounds good.
Yeah, I think we're ready. Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
We're fine. We're already in the chaos. Like, let's add another one.
Exactly.
It's fine. No, I think the point of adding a third is like we really just complain and do all this stuff. But like at the end of the day, like we do love our life. It didn't feel like it sometimes when we were in the midst of like really bad situations.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like we wouldn't choose any other path for ourselves.
No.
And like this is where we want to be. We love our kids. We adore them so much. Like every moment with them is just so precious.
Especially when you kind of get over the trenches where we are now with the little lady over a year now. And, our oldest being 3 years old. Like now we're really, really seeing like the fruits of things. And it's just like so beautiful. Like it's so hard to explain. I mean, we'll try our best. But I mean, honestly, like the best thing I could picture with having two kids, and I could best way to explain it right now is the bond between those two. Oh my gosh. It's like setting up each other with a best friend for life.
Yeah.
And that took so much of us just getting through some stuff in order for that to happen.
Being patient and just going through it day by day.
Because again, we don't want the situation where they don't like each other because how we treat each of them individually when they were growing up. So we really had to be patient of just understanding where each of these kids are coming from.
Right. Seeing them together is just like so beautiful. But yeah, it took a lot of work for us to get there. Like it was a huge bumpy road, like constantly up and down, up and down, up and down. But like thankfully, yeah, we were patient. And then you get thrown another huge speed bump, and that would be Peanut not sleeping through the night and constantly getting out of bed. One time it was literally 10 times that I'm putting her back throughout the night. And so going back to lack of sleep, which again takes a toll on your mental health. But yeah, like the lack of sleep, new parents know this very well. Like it is very hard to keep your mental state in check when you don't have a full like 8 hours sleep or whatever you need. The sleep has definitely gotten a little bit better, especially since Tom has jumped in a little bit more, but it's still not great. And so we're still struggling with this, and it's been months and months and months.
Yeah, it's definitely that went from 10 to like maybe 2 or 3 times per night. So it still happens.
Yeah.
Still disturbing your sleep, but I can't complain right now.
Yeah, it's true. Like we're still doing good.
Yeah.
And I think too, like this year, as we mentioned, it's been like a huge eye opener for us that we have learned is that putting our perspectives into Peanut's shoes, right? That was a big thing because, she started daycare this year. And that was a huge thing. She has a new sibling. And so we really had to understand where she's coming from. And if we didn't do that, like, who knows? Like, it really helped us mentally, I think.
Yeah.
Understanding that and just knowing that different perspective because she was 2 at the time, having a 2-year-old brain. Like, what does that mean to her? And like, what does that mean for us?
I feel like we definitely could have gone a different direction of like, kind of get over it. Kind of like, like, why are you acting like this? And I don't think that would have been good for anybody. I feel like that would have really, really, really hurt her relationship with us and with her new sister.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was a lot at stake, you know, like our health was at stake, sleeping like crap every night, our marriage was at stake, just because.
Well, I think like it could have been.
Yeah, it could have been at stake just because we had differences with the approach on how to deal with her coming out of her bedroom during the night times. Because I'm
That's
very
true.
much like, you know, like strict. Like when she comes out, you put her right back in. It doesn't matter. She's kicking, screaming, you put her right back in. And then you know, like that's it. Whereas Mallory, you know, she's got like the more nurture approach where she really wants to, you know, make sure she's okay and make sure that.
Well, I just want her to understand that it's okay to like feel what she's feeling, right? And I
Right.
don't want to dismiss those feelings. And so, yeah, that is something that Tom and I really struggled with. At the same time, like I get where you come from, where it's just like, this needs to end. Like, she can't be doing this. But at my end, I'm like, well, we need to let her know that it's okay to feel these things.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not the issue. The issue is like how she's dealing with it externally.
And, you know, I feel like we tried your way for a while.
Didn't work.
Well, I'm glad we did though, because it was really good to show her that we cared about her.
Right.
And we're not just going to let things go with
Yeah.
her, especially with emotions.
Right. But eventually it has to come to an end.
Eventually,
you know?
yeah, the party had to end. And I had
Yeah.
to step in and kind of, you know, just tell her, okay, you know, you're a big girl now. You can't sleep by yourself. You know, you're only 2 doors down. So
I definitely suffered for a little too long, I think. But whatever.
it's okay. I'm
It's over
glad.
with now.
I'm glad we did it anyways.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, she's an emotional girl. She needs that.
Exactly. Yeah, she is the emotional type, and that's kind of the thing. Like, I don't want her to underthink that that's ever a bad thing to be emotional.
And come
it's
for us
just
to help.
Yeah, and then she has the ability to come to us, but it's more just like how she can handle those emotions that we're really trying to teach her. And I mean, again, putting our perspective into her brain, like she's only 3. We
And
just
she-
have to constantly remind ourselves of that.
Exactly. And she's going through a lot. As much as she doesn't know it, like it's not like she's thinking, oh, I'm going through so much.
Yeah.
You know, subconsciously, her emotions, she's going through a lot.
Yeah. I do remember saying to you, how can we expect a 3-year-old to hear something and change their feelings about it the next day? Like when you and I are dealing with struggles, and yet it can take us months, you know, it takes us months to get over something. So I'm like, why are we expecting a toddler to get over something and just like make it not a big deal?
Yeah, I think sometimes we undermine them a little bit, you know, like you're just a kid. Like, you know, just like, what do you have to think about? But again, like consciously, they don't have all that much. So they really depend on their subconsciousness to deal with a lot of their emotions.
Exactly. So yeah, we definitely did struggle with that. So yeah, that was kind of something that was like, ugh. Now this is really showing of like how our parenting is kind of like bumping heads a little bit.
Mhm.
And like you kept surprising me with things. So it's just like, oh, we really need to get this thing in
For
check
sure,
because yeah, you're right. If we kept going down the same path, like our marriage was definitely something that could have been really affected with our mental health and our physical bodies and like just everything. We are really happy to like be over that,
Yeah.
to have a better mindset, to really put into perspective of what our toddlers are thinking.
Yeah. All right. Now to jump into some good things that we've learned in 2024. One of the things I can really remember is I feel like for me, it's really the growth. It's so wild that it's only been, you know, like it seems like 2024, it's been a year, but it feels like it's been like 5 to 10 years for some reason, just because the amount of growth that I've had. And so the biggest growth I've had was really just realizing that I am grieving of my previous self, of my old self. And that was a big thing that for me to understand that it was okay. And I feel like I was just like really hanging on to my old self for a while.
Yeah. And I think that is the biggest learning lesson is like you are grieving and it's okay to be grieving that. You don't want to beat yourself up over it. You want to like acknowledge that it's happening.
Yeah. Because, you know, I feel like with one kid, it was a lot easier. You know, like I still had a lot of freedom to do a lot of stuff because one of us could tackle that. But man, having 2, now the responsibility really falls on both of you guys to, you know, put them to bed, to bath one of them, the other one does all the other stuff. So yeah, to let go of my past self, that was a huge growing curve for me.
It was. And I think you've really succeeded at, you know, understanding it. And also, we've also really tried to adjust knowing that it's okay for one of us to do something.
Right.
Because we
Yes.
really tried, like unintentionally,
Yes.
would hold each other back from like, hey, like, I want to go to this movie with my friends. Like, can I go?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, go. You know, but like we were so scared to ask because we didn't want to leave the other one in the trenches.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot better at that. However, for this year, I do hope that we get even better with that
Yes,
because
for sure.
it, again, it's a lot easier. And like since the near end of this year, the past like 4, 5 months, I would say, of the year, it's been a lot better mentally and physically and everything. Like we've just been better.
Yeah, I would say so. We're at a pretty good place now. I feel like we're driving really, really well.
Yeah, and it's just easier with our kids, like we have a better understanding of each of them and like what they need and like how to work things around like what we need to.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to our parents as well. I would say it's definitely a time for shout out to the amount of help that they've helped us as well.
Yeah.
It's just really, really good to see the bond with the grandmas, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah, they've definitely been very helpful this past little bit for sure. So that's been amazing.
Yeah, it's, man, I don't know. The biggest thing for me toward 2024 is, again, it's seeing the kids bond together. Like, for example, I think it was this morning, little lady was having breakfast, and little Peanut just couldn't wait to like go from her chair and go visit her at her table. And I don't know what they were laughing about. They were just laughing. And like one would start laughing, and then it would like somehow like react to the other would start laughing, and it would just like both start laughing. And it's just like little stuff like that, and it's just melts your heart.
It really does. It's like the most precious thing when you like, even for supper, like the other night or whatever, it was the same thing. Like they're both like sitting across from each other, just looking at each other and laughing. And you're just like, this is so beautiful. Like, I just can't stop looking at both of them going back and forth, back and forth. Or, they're both looking at books together side by side. It's the biggest blessing that you can ask for.
Yeah.
It's almost no words. There's no words.
I know there's no
to
words
explain it.
Yeah. And, when the little Peanut kind of gets hurt, and our oldest is starting to kind of go towards her now and attend her, give her kisses. So it's almost like she's going to have like another nurturing like role model in her life. It's like so beautiful.
And yeah, little lady, I mean, she's never really had much interest in walking until recently. And yeah, it's so cute seeing Peanut just like encouraging her, like, yay, 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 like you can do it. Like, oh, it's just so darn cute. Like, I just love them so much. It's almost too much to talk about because like I'm gonna get emotional about it. Like it's that precious, and I wouldn't want it any other way. And no matter how difficult it got, like, again, it's the best gift that we were given.
Yeah, you're honestly right. Like no matter how much we moan and bitch, it's just like, yeah, I would never, ever, ever take it back.
And again, shout out to Peanut too. She has been the biggest inspiration for growth within each other. And she's taken it as a champ, us trying to figure out just as much as she's trying to figure it out, Like she's kind of like the guinea pig of the children. Like we just try out on her and see what works and sticks.
Pretty much.
And, she's doing great, and she's just the most precious thing.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
And, I feel like it's part of reason us making this is, yeah, like maybe, in hopes in the future that, I don't know, like she would come across it or we all watch it together. But yeah, if she does, I just want her to know that she's just the brightest, funniest, and just like most lovable soul that we have in our family, for sure.
So with all that being said, what are your hopes for this year?
Oh, man.
With our family.
With our family, I just hope that we can really go on more trips. It doesn't have to be big, even like little trips to even little trips just to like, nearby city, or like we go snowboarding, or like just go for a picnic.
Yeah, like we ain't talking about like flight trips.
No, not anytime soon. No, but
we still have yet to do that. We have friends that do that, and we're just like, desire. Oh dear God, like, yeah,
you spend how much to? No, we have no desire to go on flights anytime soon. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, definitely road trips I think would be a lot of fun, especially since we really refrained from taking trips, even just with the one child, just because, I don't know, it was also stressful. Everything was stressful for us.
Yeah.
But we are definitely a lot better with two, surprisingly. And yeah, we just handle it way differently than we did in the past. So I agree. I am looking forward to trips for sure.
Yeah.
Trips is definitely one. I also feel like we want to be less active on like technology, especially around our kids, which I know we really try as well. But when it becomes part of your business and this and that, like it does get tough. So keeping those things in mind is definitely something that I want to be better at. I know you probably want to read more because that's always something that you like to do. But yeah, and just like spending more time with our kids. Like we do a lot of that already, but I think it's going to be even more fun when both of our girls are like walking and run around. And I think that's just going to be so precious.
For sure. More conscious parenting. Yeah.
So what kind of things are you guys looking forward to for the new year? Let us know in the comments.
All right. So now we kind of jump into the to the business side of things, we started this podcast in May of, I guess, last year now. And it's been, what is this, like our 7th month doing this? Yeah, our 7th month doing this. It's been a great journey, but we definitely had our ups and downs with that as well. And I looked back in some of our older videos just a couple of days ago, just for funsies. And I think just for doing this recap as well. And yeah, we've come a long, we've come a long way.
Yeah. If any of you have been kind of like keeping up with our videos, you'll definitely know that we are all over the place here.
Yeah.
Like we started out one way, and we definitely have a lot of issues like throughout this time of where we want our podcast to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a huge bump in the road around the 3-month mark. What do they call that? I don't know.
I don't even know. I feel like just around 3 months is when a lot of podcasters quit.
Yeah. So we definitely felt that around that time, because we were like, we're not getting anywhere. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, like our views weren't growing. Our subscription wasn't growing. Just like nothing was really moving, and yet we're putting all this energy and effort and money into this, and it's just like it's not doing well. So we really have to remind ourselves like why we're doing this in the first place. Is it just for like quick growth kind of like thing, or are we doing this for long term?
We're doing it for long term. We're also doing it for us, almost like, we're like writing journals, but like in a podcast.
Yeah,
for everyone to see. So
I know, yeah. If anything, we'll have the memories of this over the years.
Yeah.
And then individually, I feel like I wanted to go a certain way and you want to go the other way. And and really had to like somehow find a way to unite us and go on the same path. And so that was a challenge as well.
Yeah, Tom really took me on a roller coaster of like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. And I'm like, I'm not having fun anymore.
Yeah, I don't want
to do this anymore. So yeah, it was definitely really And then looky, you're back to where we were from the beginning of what we talked about.
Yeah, pretty much. I think you have to try new things.
Yeah, it's true. If you don't get views, if you don't get subscribers, like who cares?
Exactly.
We're gonna stay true to who we are, and that's what we wanted from the very beginning.
Yeah. And one other reason why we were almost thought about quitting actually was because we saw how well other people were doing. And other people were getting monetized. And, you see videos of, how to get monetized in 3 months. And we're just like, we're not even close.
Yeah.
And so we really had to scale it back and be like, you know what? We have to change different goals here. We're not going to be the biggest podcasters in the world, but we have to change our goals. Mm-hmm. And so it's been a beautiful journey. I'm glad that we're learning lots. And I hope you guys are enjoying this.
Yeah. And if you do like our podcasts, please tell us. Like, we would love to hear from you guys. So please leave comments below, give us a like, subscribe if you're new. Obviously, we would love it. And we would welcome you very graciously with open arms to our family.
Aw.